Oh man, oh man, I don't have any audio. As I was saying, let me bring on stage none other than Asian on Pulse. Brother, how are you doing? Welcome for a third episode. Glad to have you in here.
Yeah, it's the Web Free episode. Web Free.
we're
Hi
bringing
there, hi everyone.
hi,
Yeah.
we're bringing Web 2 into Web 3, guys. So our guests already in the green room. They
hmm
are from the B protocol, right? So yeah. Hey man, how you doing? How's life treating you, man? GM.
GM, everything is good. I mean, we heard that there's a big news coming up tonight, right? Yeah.
Indeed,
So
indeed.
also, it's the first heads up for people who wants to know more about Give protocol today. Something that's very special because a lot of times in the space, right? People just tend to want to make the money here and there and not really contributing to charity and contributing back to the society. So I think this conversation today that we have with this special guest later, the founder of Give Protocol, is that it's kind of aligns with what Ethereum's the founder of Ethereum and also the founder of Pulse Chain, Richard Hart, did. That we helped raise a large amount of money. How much was it? Was it $27 million?
$27 million. Yeah,
Yeah,
for charity,
27
for
million.
Sans Foundation, brother.
Exactly. So um, I would say you can count within like 10 fingers how many people with that kind of influence have that kind of generous heart that is genuine and sincere to do this kind of works for the people who are in need, right? So this is something that um, people in different vision, different kind of level of mindset, these are the things that they are doing and contributing back to this to the humanity, to the society, right? Yeah, so I think it's very special. So whoever that is coming on stream, you really got to pay attention to see how it works. Okay, so the man that we are gonna invite later to talk about Git protocol of his personal journey and also what is Git protocol about. He is a very I would say powerful software engineer and very talented as well. He knows a lot. He's totally the DeFi people, a DeFi expertise in the space as well. So
Awesome.
just like hacks, all right, and we are all the DeFi pioneers. So we are all
Indeed.
in sync when we come into topics like DeFi, right? So let's see. What else do you have to say, maybe?
Yeah, we did, man. It's worth noting when you said something that you're bringing, giving back to the community, right? There's nothing best than to extend this meat, right? As Richard Hart was saying, to have longevity, right? At the end of the day, we're not here for forever, right? That is something worth noting. That yeah, when we grow old, something you can fix. Maybe you could just have a longevity. You could extend your life. Maybe we could make yeah, the science behind it. So it's worth noting that we have protocols like this one, in which you can literally donate. And yeah, I think from what I understand, the capital is still there. So it's yeah, I know some other protocols by the doing that, like the Fair Crypto, which I was trying to support early on. I'm still supporting steel right now, but they have different mechanisms, or should I say ways of doing stuff, right? So but basically we are in the same boat in this. And yeah, so we're saying, man, there's no better man. But yeah, let's see him on stage. All right, Paul, Asian, none other than, I think you have the same name, right? Alvin. Alvin.
Hello, GM,
Alvin, how are you? Good evening,
Asian,
everyone.
Um, the
Yep.
man himself. Yeah.
The man himself, the legend of
Hey,
the Big Give protocol. How are you, brother? How are you
doing
doing?
great, doing great. So a pleasure to be here to sharing our project and also yeah, just mingle around and chat about what's happening in this industry lately. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Indeed, pleasure to have you, brother. And I feel honored, and I'm very thankful for Moonex from the Moonex team, Ethan and Paul for doing this stuff. So yeah, we're looking for tonight's stream for guests, right? And there's no better way to have you on the stream talking about the kind of the decentralized, the Web 3 of doing GoFundMe, right? So
Right. Yep.
maybe later on you can talk about the project, but yeah, we want to ask you first, how did you come into crypto? What's the story behind, brother?
Wow.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And
Share us some good advice, man. Like tell us how
right.
did you get started? What was your biggest takeaway, and what was your biggest lesson that you have experienced in the space?
Wow, that is a very, very long topic, and I would love to share with everyone about my journey in crypto. Actually, I've been in crypto for quite a while. I have been in crypto since late 2015 and 2016. That was started. I wasn't a software engineer back then. I'm just an enthusiast that discovered that hey, this thing like pretty interesting. They're coming up with a new economic model, and I started as a miner myself, and then subsequently getting more and more involved in crypto. And is actually crypto is actually the reason why I self-learn and become a software engineer at the first place. But being in early doesn't mean uh, I'm handling my crypto journey correct. In fact, I did several mistakes. If I never traded futures since 2015, 2016, I never traded futures or never traded with margin, I will probably be retiring in several islands. I'll be doing island hopping and maybe retired in Maldives dice right now. Because when I look back on my BTC, I entered when BTC was like 1,000 or slightly less than that. So that was super early, and then I accumulated some BTC. I'm super convicted about it, and then I'm leverage traded. I actually have a lot of that paper value back then when BTC pumped up to 19,000, but then everything crashes, and while it goes down, I still leverage long. Yeah, because I believe in idea, I believe in ideology, which is a bad mistake. I leveraged long, and 2018, almost all of my net assets were wiped out. But hey, but I think that I still believe in this idea, so I would say, hey, why not I stay? And then I learned software engineer, I learned self-taught coding, and I learned computer science by myself, and then I started to build some full stack stuff. And then I was involved in the 2020 DeFi summer. I actually experienced a boom, and I am so me myself. I know about finance. I trade a lot. I trade futures, options. I think this is an entirely new thing. DeFi on chain. We are creating financial logics on chain with programs and also smart contracts. So that is why I started to become deeply involved in DeFi, building liquidation boards, and subsequently helping people to build their DeFi projects. And subsequently, yep, we built our DeFi project, and Give Protocol is actually our second project. So yeah, this is a little bit of backstory, but the takeaway is that you know what you we must know what we are good at. Like me, I actually sucks at trading. If I never traded, so probably that wouldn't have my first project. There wouldn't be any Gift Relapse or Gift Protocol. I will be retired right now. But yeah, it's just a journey. It's a learning process. So yeah.
So
Indeed,
you mentioned that you did futures, and then you had
Right.
a huge up down roller coaster right there, and
Right.
then you I heard you mention that you did some first project. What was it?
My first project is actually called YOLO Protocol. It's actually on Base. It's actually incubated by Base. So
Wow.
it is actually a leverage trading platform, something that a platform that allow people to trade synthetic stocks with leverage on chain. So it's basically a Uniswap V4 hook that we were incubated by Uniswap V4 and also Base Incubator. And yeah, so that is our first project right now. We close our angel round when we are launching it soon. That is our main focus. But then GIF is actually an idea that it's actually a hackathon idea where we come up with the idea with some of our co-founders. We are thinking that hey, we actually know about DeFi. So when we talk about DeFi, people are always thinking about things like WACME, things about YOLO, things about all in, pretty degen styles. But can we actually create a protocol that leverages our DeFi knowledge, but that creates real world impact? So I believe Give Protocol is a very interesting idea that you can't implement it in a Web 2 manner. It's a purely Web 3 possible stuff, but it's not, you can't build the same idea on a Web 2 infrastructure. Yep.
indeed. Thank you for sharing it, one
Yep.
brother. So yeah, we're talking about leverage. So we from the Pulsean community, especially with RH, the founder, we are more of like the yeah, the DeFi stuff, the yield
Yeah,
stuff, right? So he was saying for quite some time, yeah, do not freaking trade. It's like a mantra in the community, right? But I do
yeah,
understand where you're coming from, and yeah, thank you for sharing
right.
your experience. And yeah, I think it's worth noting that yeah, trading is literally hard, right? So you have what other projects with you were talking? I think you have a lot of hackathons that have
Uh,
that you have won.
yeah,
Maybe you could share for the community.
yeah,
I
yeah.
know you're,
Like
I
we
know
have.
you're a oh man, I know you are the top tier software engineer, right? So you're like up
Yeah,
there,
not
right?
really, but I wouldn't say we are top tier engineers, but we
All
truly
right.
understand DeFi, and we actually building stuff that we use ourselves. So that makes us different, or that makes us stand out. There are a lot of good devs in this industry, just that. We also join hackathon pretty often to actually try out our development skill. But the main win will be the latest one will be YOLO protocol, like I mentioned just now. It actually wins the Uniswap incubator demo day, won the base batches 001 hackathon, and also some other hackathons like Chromium. We got a prize in the Chainlink Chromium hackathon. And yeah, but in general, we like to try out new ideas in hackathon. And if there are aspiring startup founders out there that are listening to this, if you have an idea, but it's very pretty hard to call or have a cold conversation with VC right now because there are so many projects. But joining hackathon is actually a good way to validate your idea and get some track record before you actually pitch to VC. It will be some sort of filtering mechanism for VC as well. Just some sharings. I wouldn't say I'm very good. I'm like a super good dev, but we are building things that we are interested in, so we are convicted in. Yeah. Mm,
So a question here:
yep.
how do you view like being a builder in the space and the projects with VCs and projects without VCs?
Um, uh, I, I think Asian asked a very good idea, good question. There are two ways of building a project. Either you bootstrap it with your own money and totally from a bottoms up mechanism, like built through community, or you actually raise some funds from VC to fund your project. I think fundamentally it's just a matter of choice whether you prefer the VC way, which is more aligned with Web2 manner, but in Web3, we actually have a different approach, purely built from a bottoms up mechanism, by pooling community funds and also working together with some early, I would say, OG community groups to bootstrap the project. And I think both of them are different methods. I don't have preference. But if you are a founder, you can just pick the one that suits you. Let's say if a VC is sending you a check for like 500K or maybe 1 million and you are at your pre-seed stage or angel stage, I would say just take it. But if you already have a very strong community, you haven't have a VC, well, just bootstrap with the community. I think it's just a preference. I wouldn't say which one is more superior. Yeah, but that's my take. Yeah.
But looking at the many projects out there, right? We often see the one of the statements right there in on X or on YouTube, right? The
Mhm.
crypto players, they are saying like, oh, VCs are kind of like a scum. They don't have belief. They are just like dumping on your head whenever you do some sort of results. How do you see that? Like, um, the pros and cons is definitely there, right?
Ah,
So maybe we can go a little bit deeper on your experience and your
I
journey,
see.
since you have been in the space for like about 10 years now.
I
I'm sure you do share some opinions on this part as well, right?
Yeah, I think that is a pretty legit concern that some community members have. In short, some community members do see that so-called VC projects, and they believe that VCs or other investors will dump on them, which some VCs or some early investors really do. So not defining really does do this kind of stuff. So when we talk about a project is backed by VC, we actually need to verify that what VC is backing this project. Let's say if a project is backed by maybe some tier one VCs that are more value oriented instead of profit oriented, maybe something like Paradigm, or even let's say you were invested by maybe like Coinbase Ventures or maybe like Binance Easy Labs, they tend to not dump the token for short-term profit. So this is a take. But if you are invested by some VCs that are profit oriented, they chase short-term goals. They need to answer to the LP. They are pretty new. They might be slightly more profit oriented, and that is you need to differentiate between who backs what projects, and the lead investor of that particular project actually speaks a lot on whether that project will be a short-term project or it will be a sustainable project. Yeah, this is just a take, but ultimately, I think your market makers also plays a role. Whether your market maker can play a role in sustaining your token price or not, that is also another aspect. But in general, I would say not all VC projects will jump on what is it community, but some VCs does do such thing. So the key is that differentiate between who invested in what projects. Yeah,
Yeah, man. So I just want to ask you about investing, right? Or for
right.
this, can they do some divesting, or should I say a scheduled way of divesting in VCs? Can they do that, like scheduled one?
Yep. Definitely. I would say in the early days, like 2022 or 2021, even 2023, the VC raised projects tend to be more transparent on what VC get, what allocation, and what is their vesting schedule, what is the cliff, and uh, and also they tend to be quite transparent towards the community. But some projects they tend to not reveal that, which I think is it could be better if they be transparent on what is the allocation for the team members, what are these allocation for VCs, what is the investing time. They would be more transparent in order to gain community trust, because they know that, oh, so the vesting schedule with us, so there won't be a selling pressure in the early days. But then there will be I also heard about some project that they raise funds from VC where there's no vesting at all. VC is free to they get the complete allocation during TGE. So yeah, just I would say if you are interested in a project, but this information is not transparent, I would say maybe you can join the community and you just ask the founders or the team. There are a lot of practices, different practices in this industry where I don't think it's good for us to generalize. But yeah, there are very very legit value based investors, but there are also short term profit oriented investors. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, thank you for that, brother. So yeah, man. I think when you're talking about the labs, right?
Yeah.
Binance Labs talking
Right.
about labs having
Yeah.
CZ going into the labs since
Yeah.
he cannot go back into the Binance as a. I don't know if he can go back, but he's more into the Binance or
Right.
labs. How do you call those the lab thing? Why kind of incubator also,
Easy,
right?
easy.
Easy
YZ.
Labs, yeah. They
Ah,
used to
yeah,
be Finance Labs, but they were renamed to Easy Labs.
easy labs. Yeah,
Yeah, I believe that they mentioned that they stay they stay with the founder throughout their journey for quite a long time. So if that is true, I think they will not tend to sell the token prematurely. Also some bigger names like maybe like Coinbase Ventures, and some names like maybe like Paradigm, maybe some Spartan. I don't know, but yeah, those are some big names in this industry that they might having them as a lead investor might holds a lot of weight. Yeah.
yeah. And may I segue in that one, right? Have you heard of Pulse Chain?
Yep.
Also, literally not VC. There's no one
Right.
dumping on
Right.
your head.
Right.
Right? Just for the
Yeah.
people who are listening, we are true DeFi chain, right? So
Right. Right.
people who
Right.
have been joining this
Yeah.
one, oh man, we are literally no VCs dumping on our chain.
Mm.
I know if you have heard of Richard Hart, right? So I'm
Yep.
kind
Yep.
of
Yep.
biased on this one because we're talking about investors or
Mm.
VC funding. So practically Pulse Chain, since we are from Prosecons
Yep.
location on Pulse here, practically man, we are literally no VCs will be dumping on
Yep.
your head. So
Yeah.
I kind of question people who are building on the VC back
Right,
thing, when
right, right,
you could bootstrap your economy, as you were
right.
saying, for you to just do it, and yeah, just launch
Yeah,
your token without, yeah, it's permissionless way,
yeah,
right? So
right.
that's my question, with you, maybe later on, in which you'll be, I think you have a good project,
Mm,
and maybe we will be asking you now with your project,
right. Sure.
right? So what is the give protocol?
All right. So basically, let me be short. You can think of Give Protocol as a Web3 version of GoFundMe. So people know about GoFundMe or some similar projects like Kickstarter, Indiegogo. You commit some funds, you give some capital to an early stage project or maybe a charity cause, and you fund it with your money. So we are creating a Web3 version of it, but we call our platform a no loss donation platform. What do I mean by no loss? No loss means that you never loses your capital, but at the same time you actually contributed and actually created an impact. How do we create no loss? Well, if we spill the beans, it's actually pretty simple. Instead of actually using your money to fund a project, you actually stake your funds. It can be stablecoin, it can be Ether, it can be ETH, can be maybe some other tokens or some other assets that we will support in the future. You stake it in the vault, and the yield generated within that period will goes to maybe that NGO or that project you support. And after the login period finishes, you just take back your funds. So that's why we call ourselves a Web3 version of GoFundMe, but we call ourselves a no loss donation platform. You do not lose your capital, you fully claim it back after the login period finishes. So, and this method is only possible with DeFi and Web3. I can't imagine that someone can create this mechanism in a Web2 manner, because you might say that you might create something similar in a Web2 manner, but it's not verifiable on chain. But whereas our method, you can just take it in a vault. You can know where the money flows to. It flows to Aave, flows to Pendle, flows to Euler. And once the login period finishes, you will just take back that money. It's not us who say that you will take back your money. Just the code says that once the login period finishes, you can take back your money. So, and this is only possible with DeFi. So there are many problems with I would say the charity industry itself is actually pretty big. So right now, our global GDP is something around 70 plus trillion. The charity industry itself actually amounted to something like 700 billion. Yeah, 700 billion, which is pretty much is like 1% of the global GDP, more or less. This is a report by Citibank. GoFundMe itself, they raised I think throughout their entire life cycle, they have managed to help campaigners to raise around 30 billion, which is a huge amount for across like 10 plus years. So which is a pretty huge amount. So it's a pretty huge industry where people still use traditional method to contribute, and even platforms like digital donation platforms like GoFundMe, like some other platforms, even like Gitcoin, they only tap to a market like they don't manage to tap into a market like several billions per year. So it's a huge market, but then it's a proven business mechanism or business model. We just think that there are still room for us to improve, and we are DeFi experts. We have been in the DeFi space for quite a long time. Can we use DeFi or blockchain to actually make this industry more transparent, or make this or innovate in this industry? So this is how Gift Protocol get started. We started as a hackathon idea, and subsequently we joined BGS hackathon and also Morphs hackathon, and we won some prizes. And we joined Scroll's Open Campus as an incubator in Malaysia by Scroll Chain. And after that, right now we were being incubated by BGA. BGA is Blockchain for Good Alliance. It's actually backed by Bybit, and we will be flying to Copenhagen in this weekend for our final pitch. So we are an early stage startup, but I'm pretty bullish in this project. I think that we are here to not only earn money. It's not the main purpose, but rather we are trying to prove to Web2 people and Web2 financial guys that hey, DeFi can create some interesting stuff that Web2 might not be able to implement. Yep.
All right. So you're saying. about loss, I'm kind of interested. I have to say no loss donation. So
Yep.
we're maybe you could expand on that one. What's the tokenomics, right? So
Right. Right.
during the show, I always ask, how does the tokenomics work?
Right.
Maybe you could expand on that one for the community or for the stream who are
Right.
listening.
So when we talk about tokenomics, it means our own tokens, tokenomics. We might not launch our tokens so early. We want to prove that this business model works first. But we, in the later stage, we might retrospectively airdrop to early users. But in the business model itself, it's pretty simple. Let's say someone has USDC. They have like, let's say, 2,000 in USDC. They might think that, hey, this project actually, so let's say this project is a project that supports animal sanctuary. They help maybe homeless or stray cats or homeless dogs, so on and so forth. They say, "Hey, this project actually aligns with my value. I am an animal lover, but then I don't want to lose my 2,000 USDC. I don't want to give them that money, but that money is sitting in my wallets for some time. I'm not utilizing it right now, but I'm not ready to lose it. So you might be able to stake it with Gift Protocol for that project particularly. And then let's say for 2,000 USDC, you can generate a yield of maybe 10+% per annum. Let's make it 200 USDC. So you can lock in for 6 months or maybe 12 months. So within that period, that yield goes to that NGO or goes to that good cause. So that will be maybe 100. If you log in for half a year, you maybe effectively donated 100 USDC to that project, to that NGO. So after the login period finishes, you just take back your funds. You take back your full 2,000 USDC. But then the NGO will get a 100 USDC in yield. So we call this a no loss donation platform, where only possible with DeFi.
Yeah,
All right.
I mean, I do agree that it's only possible with DeFi, because the problem with centralization in the
Right.
traditional world is the trust issue, right? The
Yeah.
middleman issue, where
Yeah.
we're not entirely sure, because it's not transparent. The money goes to them, and how do they spend it, right? We don't know.
Right.
And a lot of times we have heard too many cases where it just goes to their pocket. Like suddenly one
Yes.
day it pop up, oh, a new Ferrari, right?
Mm. Actually,
So
yeah,
yeah.
what Lucien said just now is a pretty interesting case where we use as our case study. I think GoFundMe, I think if you guys read the news before, maybe you go through a campaign that they used to raise funds for a homeless veteran, ex-combat veteran in US, and it's said to be a homeless guy, but he's a very good guy. It gave his last, I think, $20 to help another people, and then they do a campaign to help the person raise, if I recall correctly, 400K in USD. But turn out the entire campaign was actually a planned hoax. The guy actually got the 400K, and then they split the money, and they used the money to go to casino and buy a BMW. And then right now they were persecuted by the US prosecutors for running a fraud campaign. So of course it's not GoFundMe's fault, because they just provide a platform. But in a Web2 manner, it's actually pretty hard to trace back your money. So let's say you give, once you donated 1,000, you believe it actually helps a real combat veteran, or actually a homeless combat veteran. You believe that you help them. You're going to give him 1,000 USDC directly. But then it turns out that it's a scam or it's a hoax. There's no way for you to claim back your 1,000, because it already reached their pocket. But for our mechanism, if you really stick for that person, you just assign your yield to that person or that campaign. So once once the campaign finishes, even though it's a scam or even though it's a hoax, whatever, you actually take back your full capital. In fact, we do have a checkpoint system whereby in the mid campaign, we allow stakers, or we call them donors, to actually initiate a vote. As if there are checkpoints. If there are checkpoints, during checkpoints, backers or donors, they can initiate a vote that, hey, actually does this NGO, or does this person, or does this specific organization promise to do stuff, but they did not deliver. If majority of the backers or donors actually found that, hey, this project does not deliver their milestone, they actually can withdraw their funds from that vault, which is a premature withdrawal, only if all of the majority of backers agree. So this also asserts a kind of accountability on the recipient himself. So recipient will say, okay, if we do not deliver the milestone, actually we will lose our backing, and our funds do not goes to that recipient in a one-shot manner, but rather is a streamed yield. So instead of, let's say, if there's a 400K campaign, instead of you're giving people one check directly 400K, and then next 2 months, next 3 months, they might not have any income at all. We have a stream yield like DeFi yield. We don't get the DeFi in one shot, but rather it's a pretty streamlined yield that you can accumulate either every day, every week, or every year. It's more or less like this. So it's actually it's actually easier for the recipient to plan financially on the future cash flow. What are the money I will be receive for next month? What are the amount that I will receive for next several months? Yeah. So the mechanism is pretty different. Yeah.
All right. So looking into your website, I was scanning on Twitter, right? So I'm looking for the website or for the project. Is it? I think it's already on MVP, right? Or still
Yes.
going into MVP?
Yeah, we actually ran during our hackathon and after hackathon in open campus campaign. We actually run a first pilot campaign for a foundation called Nanyang Press Foundation. We actually chip in some funds among ourselves and also some of our friends. We chip. It's not a high amount, but it's something like a 2,500 USD initial amount. We use it to stake in Euler. Of course, we do some more advanced DeFi stuff. We do some looping, and the yield generated was something like 7-8% for the previous 2 months. So it's not a super high yield, but it's we do some yield looping ourselves. So it proves that this idea actually works. So we are trying to scale it into allowing not only the pilot project, but we try to prove it with certain projects. And once it works, we will pitch to VC on this idea and use the money to actually scale this entire project. Yeah, but we actually ran a pilot project before, whereby we managed to pull 2,500 USD funds to prove that this point or this idea works. Yeah.
All right. Good. Awesome. Awesome. Hey, chat. We want to let's do some chat first in here. We have Poker Poker
Pure
Rain.
Rainbow. Pure
Poker
Rainbow.
Rainbow.
Yo, GM, GM,
Good
GM.
evening, Poker Rainbow.
GM.
GM.
That is our very good brother right there.
Yo,
All right.
GM, sir. Yep.
All right. Hey, Asian, I have a question for you, right? Look at chat.
Yeah.
Look at chat. You can answer this one. Next is Bitcoin. Oh man, you're laughable, brother. Lol.
Wow. Look at the chart, look at the transaction volume, look at the activity. We are one of the loudest still in the space. So how are we did?
Oh,
Thank you for that. Yeah, going back to Alvin, our guest. Yeah, thank you for
yep.
explaining to that. Yeah,
Right.
it's quite noting that it's unique, right? You have
Mm,
like example for me being a donor, and I can
mm.
still get my
Capital.
my
Right.
principal capital,
Yep.
right? So that
Yep.
is something unique, right? Yes. So
Yep.
something that you will be given. You're not asking for it to be
Mm,
the return, right?
right.
So how do you do that on the back end, or should I say on the protocol level? Do you have access to the funds?
For us, there are several types of strategies. We basically, the platform itself, Griff Protocol, will whitelist strategies. So that will be mid risk, low risk, and high risk strategies. For if you run a campaign, so you can select what strategies you support. But the strategy needs to be whitelisted by us first. So, for example, we are planning to support something like a risk stable yield. You can assume something like Aave, but Aave's yield won't be high. You stake your stable coin in it, you will just get maybe 4 to 5% right now, according to the current market. There will be Pendle, and with Pendle, the stablecoin benchmark is something around 10+% in this current market. So there will be Euler as well. We are in the latest stage, we're planning to support something like yield looping, but we need to actually evaluate the risk before we actually whitelist it to public. Right now, in our pilot, of course, ourselves we use Euler to loop. But in the later stage, when we open the public, actually we need to we need to carefully tinker around with the risk. So to answer your question, we don't have direct access to the funds. We whitelist strategies, and then we let campaigns to select, okay, what strategy I want to support. Yeah. So in the once we go live in the latest scale project, we also wanted to collaborate with some these decentralized insurance parties, like if you heard of Open Cover or Nexus Mutual. They are basically a DeFi based insurance. If possible, want to collaborate with them. So this vault, what if so to make sure that capital of the donors actually stay intact. If really some hack or some compromise incident happens, so donors funds must stay intact. So this is our core principle, and we'll try to deliver it in our final product. Yeah.
All right. So basically, you'll be doing some things on the background, having access to these funds,
um,
putting in yield bearing products
we don't have direct access to the funds. Basically, the campaigners, they will whitelist the strategies that they want, and then there will be a vault that executes it. Yeah.
okay. So there will be like whitelisting
We
of.
will whitelist the strategies. We'll say, okay, so our protocol supports the strategies of Aave, Euler, Pendle, whatsoever. These are strategies that will support. You can select the strategies that you are comfortable with, and then a donor will pick one of the strategy that they want to support the recipient. Yeah. So not only so, we actually not only allow donors to donate 100% of their yield. They can actually choose anything between 50, 75, or 100%. So imagine, let's say a strategy generates you a 12% yield, but maybe you just want to donate 50% of what generated from that position. You can. With our protocol, we let you have the flexibility, because we want to assure you that, okay, you can donate 100% of yield, but you can donate half of your yield, which is also good enough for that project. Ultimately, we want to make your capital stay intact, but at the same time, it actually help and create some real world impact. Yeah.
Guys, if guys who are watching right now, this is the you can scan the QR code. This is a link to their X. Again, guys, I from what I understand, they're still on their MVP, or should I say, yeah, they just have this won this
Yeah, it's a hackathon project that we created
hackathon
in
project.
community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this QR code over here is going to their X account, and you can scroll over there. And basically, people who are messaging you, DMing you, yeah, those are fraudulent and scammers, right? So be very careful out there. Again, I have put all the links for this stream so that you will not be scammed. Please will be not be asking for any money. Again, guys, none of this should be taken as a financial advice. At the end of the day, we are here just talking to people, and at the end of the day, you have to decide for yourself if you want to join the new economy, and it is the crypto economy, right? And I think one thing to consider with the Give protocol, can you do this on multi-chain? Like for example, you could maybe do this on Pulse chain, right?
It's not impossible, because what we do is that we try to provide the most convenient way for donors to donate their funds. In future, we might abstract away the chain. So we try to search the best yield for people, or not the best, but right, rather the most balanced yield sources between risk and also return for users. So Pulse chain definitely is something that we will be looking into. Like, I know Asian, I know people on Pulse. So that would be that's definitely be a possibility that we will go multi-chain. Yeah, not a problem.
I
Yes.
think, I mean, thanks, McBee, for bringing that up because
Yeah.
um, a question for you, Alvin.
Yep.
So I'm pretty sure you know that a lot of chain that is proof of stake,
Right.
they pretty much will have validators, right?
Right.
So there are you paid to the validators.
Right.
So will being a validator, the you being paid, be a part of contribution in this protocol?
You can do that, definitely. I think Pulse itself, if I correct me if I'm wrong, I think Pulse itself is a POS chain, right? So you can do a liquid staking mechanism. Okay, so instead of supporting USDC or instead of supporting by ETH, you can support by Pulse as well. Of course, we bench if you are supporting with Pulse, we will be benchmarking towards Pulse. We will execute strategies that are neutral, maybe just that are delta neutral. There's no counterparty risk. Like we won't accept like a Pulse versus USDC, but rather Pulse as a staking. You use it Pulse to you stake pulse and then the yield goes to that project, and once the login period finishes you take back your pulse. That is totally possible. Yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. Because the project that came to my mind is called Vouch. So
Right.
it's one of the liquid validate staking validator right now we have. Like I mean, maybe can talk a bit about Vouch, right? I think you are muted. You are muted.
Hi, yeah, sorry, man. So, guys, our dogs are barking over here, so I try to mute my mic. Yeah, man. Thank you for that, Paul. Asian. So, for Give protocol, Vouch is the number one validator, right?
Mm,
And practically, you could stake your PLS and you can get your Vouch. And
right.
for me, as a Pulsican, right, I will be good. I will be biased in this one, right? So for me, if I want to give a donation to a certain organization, I will just be bringing that PLS over on Vouch, and yeah, on that Vouch, since the Vouch will be whitelisted on your platform, on your Give
Right.
protocol, and practically I want to give that
Mm.
on the yield, right? That yield to a certain
Okay, cool.
organization that I want to
Right.
give. So Vouch is the number one validator on Pulse Chain,
Right.
and yeah, and practically you guys can just literally stake the PLS and you will be given VPLS. So yeah,
Mm,
man, I think people can come around and build this kind of
mm,
platforms in a decentralized, transparent way, because we don't want people who are saying, yeah, just they will just be having this donation and yeah, buying all this luxurious goods, going to casinos,
right.
right? So yeah, man, thank you for that pulse, Asian, because literally Vouch unlocks your pulse, right? Having the black rewards on the mining side. And if for me to donate in a more transparent way, yeah, man, it's good. It's good to have this kind of platform. And I would love the Give protocol to be launched also on Pulse Chain. Yeah, man.
Right. Definitely I'll look into it. Vouch. Okay.
Vouch, that's VOUCH, right? And yeah, Asian had talked with Jexa, which is the founder, so they say the founder of Vouch protocol, and they're the number one protocol on Pulse, and you can literally earn yield around 10-12% at the moment with the Vouch protocol. So yeah, for us in the Pulse community, yeah, we definitely welcome you guys building on this one, building on Pulse Chain. As I was saying, we are not VC back. No one will be dumping on your heads as we have this conversation a while ago. So yeah, man, and yeah, I want to ask also with
Right.
regards to the Vouch protocol. In which when will you guys be launching? So I know, is there a time frame? I know you have.
So the main purpose is that I think we can launch our MVP pretty quickly after the Copenhagen pitch, which will be running in 4th and 5th of November. After that, we might launch with a mainnet, but that is before audit with for a close group of users, people that willing to take a little bit risk to try out the idea. At the same time, we will actually audit the code base. Once it's ready, we will launch it. We will the timeline for public is probably around December. Yeah.
All right, cool. So let me share this one, guys. So I think this is their, this is their. Let me try to share here.
How about Alvin? Do you have a prototype to share?
We do have a prototype. Let's see, but it was is not our final version. Let me.
Okay, you can actually share your screen, Alvin. You can actually share your screen with the link that I've sent you.
Okay, 1 second.
Sure, sure.
So that we can all have the first insights on how it looks like and how does it work.
Yeah, indeed. It's worth noting that yeah, it's good to have visuals, right?
So, am I sharing right now?
Sure, I'll be sharing it on here in my end.
All right, so this is just a quick product that I built in, but it's something that actually works at the back end. So this is what we built for our hackathon. So the first project that we support is actually a project that we ourselves, as a pilot, is actually called a Nanyang Star Dream Garden. It's actually Nanyang Press Foundation. It's a newspaper in Malaysia. They have a foundation that supports I would say, underprivileged kids, a little bit disabled, to be self-sustainable and also be able to earn a living via the farm itself. It's actually a farm. So let's say if you want to stake an amount, you can just choose that. Let's say USDC. You can just choose to stake for, let's say if you have 1,000 USD, you want to stake it for the project. So this is an estimated API. I think it's pretty realistic that right now we are expecting 8 to 10% yield, or maybe up to 12 to 13% yield for stable coins on chain right now. So let's say you stake 1,000, as you can choose to assign 100% yield for that particular campaign, which is the press. So the yield generated per year will be like around 100 USD. So if you assign 100% of it to that campaign itself, you will get so after the long period finishes, you get back your 1,000 intact. You can also choose a different ratio. You can choose 75% or maybe 50%. So in this case, the campaign itself will get 50 USD. So you will get the extra for the another 50% USD that was generated. You will get back it after the login period finishes. So this is basically just how it works. There will be slightly more polishing on the front end side, but yeah, this is the entire idea that we submitted to a hackathon and also the incubator and open campus. Yep, yep.
All right,
So
Ishan, you have any question, Nations?
I think it looks good. Looks good, so that we have a clearer visual on
Yeah,
actually.
just an idea on how it will works and what we are how we are backing people. Yeah, right. So
All
yep,
right, cool.
back to you guys.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, brother. So basically, in Pulse Chain also, right? We
Mm,
have this stable coin also in PulseX. So I think
right.
more or less, I think you were showing ETH, right? It was an
Right.
ETH, right?
If I was using USDC as a benchmark because our pilot project we mainly run it on USDC, we can support ETH, but to be honest, the yield on ETH, let's say if we do not want to take a very high risk, I think normal LRT, sorry, now normal LST will just generate you maybe 2 to 3%, but stablecoin right now can generate around 10%. So our main focus with stablecoin, or like you mentioned just now, like Pulse can have a yield of 10 to 12%, it definitely be something that we'll be looking into. Yeah,
Yep, that was vouch actually on that range.
right,
Yep, indeed. So yeah, we're talking about on Pulse Chain, especially on Pulse X. We have also that stable coin side of
right,
yep. You could just on yeah, maybe I don't know if I could share my screen here. And anyway, never mind. I'm just sharing to you guys that yeah,
right,
you could also definitely move those one onto Pulse Chain. We are literally complete chain.
right.
We are literally complete chain. We have vouch. We have 9mm, which is more of a V3 concentrated liquidity, right? And I think with us, I never heard of V4, but yet again, what's good with Pulse Chain, by the way, just for the information of Alvin, is literally what's happening on Ethereum. We call it, this is not no pun intended, right? We call it ETH is our ETH is our testnet, right? Basically, what's been upgraded on Ethereum will just be upgrading it later on with Pulse Chain. So yeah, there's no bug since the upgrade of Ethereum will be upgraded later on Pulse Chain. So yeah, man, no pun intended here, but literally when you fork open source software, that's what's happening, right?
Yep,
So the capital will be there. Basically, yeah, as I was saying, we are literally complete chain. I'm very sorry, man, if you are hearing background noise. Oh man, I'm very sorry, but yeah. Asian, you have any questions and maybe you add on this one?
No, I think it's pretty cool with such protocol because we are actually like contributing in our very own efforts for people who made it in cryptos or for anybody who.
Mm,
I think like what Alvin said is it's only possible with DeFi yield
mm,
that we have in this industry, right? So it's really cool, and I think Alvin should also like really look into Pulse Chain, and also there are many single asset staking like hacks, but just that maybe the yield are not so flexy,
mm.
and then
I would say
right,
10% is actually pretty decent. Yeah, 10%
yeah,
is pretty good. If some pulse chainers or hexagons, they actually have their pulse in their wallet, they are not really they wanting to commit to, let's say they are not really wanting to stake themselves, but they say, "Well, it's sitting in my wallet, so I might as well use it to do some good
yeah.
stuff." So yeah, we definitely will be one of the choices.
Yeah, there's a few actually. If we want to talk about the core assets, we can talk about Hex.com. If we
Right.
want to talk about lending protocol,
Mhm.
liquid loans, right?
Right.
If we want to talk about a liquid staking, it's
Right.
Vault, right? And of course there are a list more of the yield staking that we could
Right.
generate from on Portion also.
Yep.
So yeah, there's quite a number of it, but these are the core assets in the space where definitely it will as long as people participate, people are willing to contribute 50 to maybe up to 100% for any NGOs they want to contribute to. Yeah, it's definitely there. Even though Chain being a new Cycle One chain for about 2 years now, even though it has not really did its like bull run yet, but I think it's definitely a
Mm,
good time for people to get to know it early. Like when it's all about entry and exit after all.
mm.
So the entry that we get and the yield that we could also generate, rather than just putting your asset in liquid and doing nothing. Yeah.
Yep.
So this is something that what DeFi offers. Oh, so one more question that I actually pop
Yep.
out in my mind. I wanted to ask Alvin. So
Right.
how do you view that the current cycle of the VCs? What are
Right.
the categories of projects they are more interested into? Is it DeFi? Is it GameFi? Is it RWA? And why?
I would say right now, crypto has already attracted the attention of traditional finance. There are lots of BlackRock, even JP Morgan are offering crypto services to their clients. Um, it might be a bit premature, but I would say if that is a project or there are methods that connects traditional financial assets with Web3 assets seamlessly, I would say that would be the next catalyst that kickstart the, I would say, or not to say kickstart, but rather sustain or push the current bull run to the next peak. Just that right now, I would say there are several catalysts in waiting right now. So first is of course the Fed's rate cut, and second will be how do we funnel or how do we channel Web2 funds into the Web3 space and vice versa, so that these Web2 and Web3 can be integrated seamlessly. If that is the case and that is something that we can be achieved, that would be the catalyst for the next peak, I would say. Yeah.
Alvin, I have here a question, right? So let's
Right.
go and chat in here. So Doc Vince from the Fear Community, as I was mentioning, they're also like a decentralized help or charity. You know, he
Right.
was asking like collab with Ophir. Is that possible?
I don't know much about all fear. If could maybe you can feed me more, but definitely we are still in very early stage. We want to prove that this idea works. We wanted to collaborate with as much people as possible. Definitely do drop DM to our X account. You can just DM us, and we are more than happy to explore collaboration possibilities with all parties. Because we are here like we have our main project. We have been in DeFi for several years. What we want to do is say, hey, we want to try to prove that hey, DeFi actually can create real impact if anyone is aligned with this vision. So yeah, just DM us. We're more than happy to collaborate. Yeah.
Maybe you can maybe tell us more about offer.
Yeah, Ophir is a decentralized help also, right? They have their own token, which is launched 2 years ago on PulseAsian,
Ah,
right? So they are more of a church focus, really, of bringing help to those people, the churches, during those times, like in typhoons, right? So they're more focused on churches and building churches, right? So yeah, Fair Crypto is a kind of. Have you heard of the term, what they call this, endowment? It's an first
yeah, yeah,
endowment
yeah,
token.
endowment, of course, yeah.
Yeah, literally just have. I was saying a while ago, the game protocol just have like a tweaking on the protocol side, right?
Mm-hmm,
Is
mm-hmm.
the first endowment. Literally, when you put it there, you don't have any more. If you want to stake it, and yeah, you can just scrape your interest, and
Mm.
maybe the I think the part where in which Doc Vince was asking if we could give that scrape interest to the certain and NGOs that we want to
Mhm.
help. So that's the part in which Give
Right.
can do a
Yeah.
collab with them, right?
Yeah.
So literally, if I am a like I want to support a fear
Mm.
and I want to give it in Give protocol, and you have whitelisted all these
Right.
things,
Right.
and I could see the donors that will be given. So it will be directly given to them
Yeah.
from the scraping side. So I don't know if it will work on the protocol level, but definitely, guys, they're open to
Yep.
collaboration.
Yep. Yep.
Yep, indeed, man. With your donations, we want the world to be better, right? People
Right.
just literally just saying this without action. We here in the Palestinian community do this with action. Again, I am the network, right?
Mm.
Asian here is not paid. Now we're not even monetized
Right.
on our talk beds, right? So we want to put our hearts out in here. This is not just like money schemes, right? So for us and for me personally, I'm all good, right? As a Mexican,
Right.
I'm all good. I'm all well contented with my, but I want to help, right? At
Mm.
the end of the day, we want to leave this place
Mm.
a better one,
Mm.
and we want to do some goodness while
Right.
we're
Right.
still alive, right? So I think, Doc Vince, with your question, I think a collab is definitely possible. The more, the merrier, is it not?
Yep. I would say we are open to collaborate all parties. Like I say just now, we are pretty early, but we are here not to prove a point to traditional finance today. We Web3 is not about degening there. We can create a real impact together as a whole, as a community and as an industry. So definitely do drop us DMs and talk to us. You can reach us via our X, or you can drop a DM to MacB or AsianOnPulse. Yeah, we will be working closely with all parties. Yep.
All right. Thank you for that, Alvin. You have heard it, Doc Vince. I think, yeah, maybe we could do some DM on this one in the future,
Right.
especially if there will be going live, as you mentioned, maybe in December. But no more two, 2 more weeks, no more promises.
Yep.
Oh man, this is a joke in the Paulson community. 2 weeks and we did lunch in 2 years. But yeah, here we are, man. A strong one, a strong community. I know Paul, I know Asia, and we were waiting for that May 13th of 2023, right? I was sleeping on my mat, and yeah, I was happy. We are really, man, Alvin, right?
Yep.
For people who are listening to this stream, we're not paying you, right? We are just here adding value to the community. That's what I love when I vibe with Asia and we first talk. Yeah, we just literally just flow, man.
Mm.
That's a good thing if you're in sync with people. Oh man, it's just easy to work with, right? So if you wanna put your heart in there, yeah, definitely give to give protocol. All right, all right. Yeah. Let's go and chat. Yeah, man. I think
Okay, so here's let's talk about
Mm.
one of the final pillar of every our Pulsation TV
Right.
episodes. So a question for you, Alvin. So as a builder, as a developer, right?
Right.
Uh, we just want to know that how do you view a chain before you decide to build on that certain chain? Like what are the metrics or what are the values that you see?
Uh,
Is it the number of validators? Is it the gas fee, or is it the community? Is it the TVL? Is it the real money on chain?
right.
Yeah.
I would say as a from a developer standpoint, a developer's perspective, before we build on a chain, and the good thing about building in EVM or building with Solidity is that there is a very high portability. You can port between different EVM chains. Of course, we are building in Solana ecosystem using Rust. You might have several SVM, but EVM itself has a lot of choices. But that being said, how do we pick a chain? At least from my perspective, is that the chain itself needs to have a certain amount of TVL, like if they can have a sustainable TVL above, let's say 50 million for several months, it's not like a one shot airdrop farming rush, but rather they can sustain for 50 million, 200 million, or more than that for several months. It will be, and they have a loyal users, loyal community, and also there are DeFi activities that are have a full ecosystem of DEXs, landing pools, and also something like a like LSTs and other DeFi instruments. And I would say these are something that we evaluate. Not so much about the gas fee. I would say if gas fee is really a concern, no one will build on Ethereum. Not so much about gas fee, but rather genuine funds, genuine capital that are actively deploying or actively playing around with different financial instruments on that chain itself, and a strong community, a strong brand name. Yeah, this are something that we look into before building. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for that. So, how about I would say that as a builder, as a developer, we often will pick a first chain to get started,
Right.
and then slowly, do you see that every or most of the projects down the road eventually will go into multi-chain?
Um, Multi-chain is something that most of the developers they will try to implement, because if we wanted to extend our reach out to Web2 users, we shouldn't and tell the Web2 users that you need to put your gas fee to the chain before you do some transactions. So there are so much barrier that Web2 users that's not familiar with this industry needs to overcome. So chain abstraction is a thing that is real. People are simplifying the entire experience for traditional users, which is something that we definitely will implement in the future. So instead of talking about multi-chain future, I would say that future might be a chain abstraction future where valuable chains will be linked together via, there are many mechanisms out there, maybe via a relayer or via some other mechanisms that that people will implement in future that abstract away all of the chains complexity. So yeah, I do think that the future is a multi-chain. In fact, I would say the future experience is a chainless experience. Yeah.
chainless chainless experience. All right, awesome. It's kind of the chain that will rule them all, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You don't even know that you're using Pulsechain, you're using Binance Chain, you're using Ethereum base. Yeah, it's in which it's easier for people to use. Like the more that is less
Seamless.
sorry, less friction. Yeah, seamless experience would be awesome indeed for the people to come in and
Yep.
bringing Web 2 into Web 3. Chat, if you have question, this is the right time to ask question on chat, right? Chat, let us check chat. I think we don't have any
Seamless.
question. All right. Yes, Aishan, you were saying. Go ahead, brother.
Oh no, I mean, we are coming to to our finishing end. So just one thing from Alvin, maybe
Right.
given your experience in the space for so long, any big piece of crypto advice that you want to give to our audience out there, whether they are new, whether they are not into crypto yet, or whether they are already in crypto space, whether we share some mind share, yeah, feel free to talk
Uh,
about it.
all right. I would say the quick thing is that know what you're good at, know what you are not good at. This is the hardest thing. So if you have a clear understanding that you are not good at trading, especially leverage trading, do not touch it. It will make your life much easier. Uh, this is the really, really precious advice. And also, be humble, learn more, but also be aware because this industry is like there are many legit projects. There are also scam projects, so be careful. Most important is you know how to verify the legitimacy of a project, and yeah, mix more with legit communities and learn from the more experienced OGs or more experienced senpai, I would say. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. But okay, so there's actually one more question that I want to ask is that um, how do you view like on your tech perspective? How do you
Right.
view like Solana and Sui Ton as compared to like EVMs like ETH,
Uh,
Earth Chain?
I would say EVM, like I said just now, if you're building an EVM, the apps is very portable. It's very, very portable because there are so many EVMs that it became the default standard of way to run smart contracts. Um, but Solana or SVM has its edge. They have a different way of executing contracts and different way of actually running programs that actually make the execution run pretty fast. Sui or Ton, I'm not that familiar. I haven't developed something there. But ultimately, if you mm, we are more comfortable with the EVM ecosystem, but ultimately it boils down to who are you targeting, what are you building, and if the chain, if your vision is aligned with that chain, and if you, of course, if the chain itself gives you grants to build on it, yeah, just go for it. I mean, we are all contributing to a decentralized, open future together as a whole. So I would say there's no right and wrong. Just go for it. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe let's touch a bit more about EVMs, right?
Right.
Because you're such a professional software
No.
engineer, we just want to learn more as much
No.
as we can. So, um, what's the from your layman explanation?
Right.
How do we like see the main difference of a layer one, layer two, and layer three?
Um, I think from a user's perspective, it actually does not differ that much. Let's say if whether you are layer one EVM, you're layer two EVM, layer three EVM, or layer three app chain, from a user perspective, it's not that much different. Uh, so for an application builder or the app builder, like I said, the reason why there is a common EVM is to standardize how at least user or the app itself expects from the chain. Um, so yeah, I don't mind if you're building on L1, L2, L3 as long as you can capture a real user base. The user base is active. There are real funds flowing. Um, it's good enough. Yeah, no preference to be honest. Yeah.
What about the security?
Security wise, maybe L2 will be ultimately relying on L1 for the security. But again, I'm not a super expert in that realm, but yeah, for me, I would say there are many good L2 solutions out there, like optimistic rollup, like Optimism, Arbitrum, or ZK I would say it's pretty robust. And the most importantly, an L2 being an L2 is that it ultimately relies on the layer one to for settlement and as a single source of truth. So I would say L2 is actually pretty robust right now. Of course, it might not be as robust as Ethereum, but I think it's pretty safe for people to actually. But an L1 itself, um, probably they again, I would say an L1 and L2 is just a technical choice. Yeah, that's my personal perspective. Yeah,
How about L0?
L0 is
It's
many.
a community, right? L0
Yeah,
is
yeah,
a
true, true.
community.
L0 is a community. Many projects wanted to be L0, but L0 ultimately is a community. Yeah, I think there are many attempts that try to connect different chains together and try to claiming themselves L0, but like what we mentioned just now, yeah, L0 ultimately is the community. Yeah.
All right. All right. Yeah. Thank you, Alvin, for your story and specific, especially for the give protocol for people to be involved in this gift giving, or should I say donation? With
Right.
in Yep, indeed. So I'm very thankful for that. Again, we will love to have you again on stream with my partner and my co-host, and of course the host of a Pulse Asian and TV. Guys, we are live every Wednesday, 8:30 UTC time. Yeah, indeed, we want to hear your story. We want to put you front and center. We want to hear what you're bringing to the table, what chain, whatever chain you are. We want to have you on stream. And yeah, definitely, Alvin, we have to get in touch with you on December if you guys can launch on mainnet on live. So yeah, man,
Right.
we
Sure.
will have to hear about it, and yeah, for updates in the community.
Right. Sure. Definitely.
All right. Asian, any any our guest for next week? Do you have our guest for next week already, or
Yeah, I think
or
we do have like guests coming up, but of course, for every audience out there, if you are watching our Pulsation TV, and if you are a builder in the space, or you want to be a builder in the space, you have some experience, you have a crypto journey to share. Welcome to DM either MacB or me, or Pulsation TV. We can see how we can schedule our upcoming episodes, and let's talk about anything in this crypto world, right? We want to let more people know about the actual journey that we have. Every individual we share different journey, right? We all have our key insights to share, key takeaways to share. So ultimately, the more that we do, the more content that we share, I think eventually we can reach out to more people. For people who are outside of this space, they want to know what it's actually like in this space, right? So this is the power of internet, power of social media, the power of people, the layer zero. The layer zero is all about people, right? So we are the people's chain, and it's definitely one of the prioritized chain that I would say is Pulse chain. So yeah, I think nothing much from me. Yeah, so thank you for everyone that came in, stream in. Shout out to Pure Rainbow again, our dear brother right there. We will have one episode with him. The episode upcoming year. He's one of the top um, influencers, and also a media boss in the space as well in Asia. So it will be definitely very awesome to have him. He's a very swag, cool guy, inspiration. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, definitely. That's all. And Alvin, how about you? Do you have any last piece of sharing to close out our live stream tonight?
I think all good. Yeah. Just keep building. Yeah.
all right,
Right.
guys, welcome. I mean, sorry, what? Catch us on our next episode. Sorry, catch us on our next episode. Yeah, we are live every Wednesday 8:30 with my host, and of course my co-host and the host of Pulse Asian TV. That's it for us for this evening, guys. Thank you for watching. This is your man, MacV Crypto and Asian.
Asian on pulse.
I'm Pulse and our guest Alvin. Bye bye,
Keep
guys.
protocol. Yeah.
Right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.